So hey, here we go. I haven't been blogging in quite some time. I'm sorry about that. Just doing a bit of personal stuff, kind of a bit of a right brain download. Just simply trying to tell you that I'm doing well with you. Tried to re-record this blog, and it's just being a right brain person. It's not real easy for me to like sort of script things or anything, or redo something I've already done. Try to write a song, and if it fails, I just assume throw it away as try to do it all over. So, anyways, what proceeds is just giving you a little bit of a download about what's up with Keith. So, here you go. Anyways, the power of like my second detox, liver gallbladder release, where I'm at now, and I'm 3 days on eating normal. Well, when I say normal, which eating whole solid food that's not blended or juiced. Oh God, I like them both now, but my elimination channel, my connection to myself, within myself, my creativity, my thoughts, my dreams, my like everything. It's just going up and up and up with this long-term detox. That's what I'm talking about in an earlier video of these like sort of immediate gratification health people. It's like, try 30 days this and try 30 days that, and my thing, and we live for somewhere in the area of, let's just say, 75 years. I'm going for a lot longer than that, but going 30 days on, 30 days off. I've been on a program now that I'm putting basically just say September 1st of when I started. And this is my whole life of being a health food person, and of like doing a big change in 2006 and doing another big change in 2009 and especially 2010 when I became really good friends with Truth Calkins. Of all of that, that's like just my last sort of big, if a book, a epic book is in a part 1, part 2, part 3, and then part 1 has 10 chapters and part 2. So I just left a whole like kind of a part, that had 10 chapters in it. And now I'm in this like new part that I started on September 1st with the channeled healings, the going completely straight edge, not really taking herbs, of being, because I want to work on my food base, of like knowing what can be achieved with just the basic food that you're eating, because there's so many people, like this is the part where you look for right in everybody. And so out of the whole basic durian rider 80-10-10 crowd of just being like anti-supplement, what I personally get out of that is this idea of like, why pay $65 on a supplement or something? I'm telling you, there's great $65 supplements, but what I want to do is I want to strip them all down to just basically nothing. I'm not like really taking anything. My finances are not allowing me to like take anything, and I'm actually thinking of going on a project. I'll tell you, we'll save that for later. We won't go on a digression from that. But spending $65 on something when you don't even have good foundational energy, like of being detoxed, of like knowing the sort of basic diet that works for you. In my case, that's, and this whole raw food, anti-raw food thing, we got something coming up on this where I need to really discuss this, because there was something that kind of slipped out on October 15th in the wellness people, and I have to specifically address this because I've been a raw food person all my adult life. Coming up on 30 years now, baby. Hell yeah. So I have all the constituents of being, I digest raw food well. I have a yang personality, raw food, yin, raw food. Some people are just like, that's so my point in all that is I'm a raw food oriented person, and it works for me, and it always works for me. Emotionally, it's my preferred diet when I really get into it. You couldn't convince me for a second. When I take the time to make a perfect meal, it's like, I don't know, there's like some people that go on a health kick and really their whole objective is to return back to a pasta meal or that's like off the radar. It's just not even on my program. So what I say with the food base with me, it's being sproutarian, eating lots of greens, making amazing dressings and sauces that are nutrient dense, being working with home probiotics, all of that kind of stuff. And so, and then of working with a basic a detoxing level of like challenging the body with or challenging the body and the consciousness with some fasting, with some, like, I did a few like juice only, water only days. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Meditating better, more than ever, and of just like, that's what I mean, food base, like find out what's possible and then start working up from there. So it's like, if you have no food base and you're sitting there building this tower and you're like, it's gonna collapse. You need to have a food base, you know? It's just like, you're gonna always be running around looking for the next like $65 supplement or whatever. So this is just my blog. That's all it is now. It's just me reporting, and for me a lot of times just like watching how I express myself, the things I did, especially going back 4 years ago. Part of this whole journey has been me sort of learning myself, and that's all I'm doing is being an activist of through action, of like doing what I feel, of not feeling restrained. So, and on all levels, you know, and expressing that of like, because you jump out into that YouTube world and you may start feeling this like, oh my God, it's like, are all of those kind of people that way? Like, and I'm talking kind of specifically about raw foodists, because there's kind of, to me, there's kind of this like uptight quality about raw foodists. It just doesn't sit well with me, and I've never taken that on. In fact, for me, that was a big part of why in the beginning days with myself, when I was in my early 20s, of why I preferred to follow Victoras Kulvinskas over Ann Wigmore, because Ann Wigmore, the Ann Wigmore Victoras Kulvinskas choice, it had a lot to do with me being a musician and an artist and a sort of young adult coming out of the 70s of loving this sort of alternative culture. There was like no way that I was going to this whole like straight uptight world of Ann Wigmore versus a kind of hippie tripped out world of Victoras Kulvinskas. It was just a simple choice because I've never related to uptight, straight, normal acting people. I've always been freak out, rock and roll, hippie, punk rock, you name it. You know, and that was my vision then, and now I'm like much more capable of like not seeing like a single part of somebody that I don't like, and then that affects the whole thing to me, and I'm like, oh, no way. Now I can get, like, with my wisdom, I can get little things out of people where it's just like, you know, it's like the whole fruitarian, durian rider crowd, blah, 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 all those people. The thing that I was just like, oh, no way. You know, the thing I like about this is the loyalty to the veganism, the sort of camaraderie, the sort of, you know, because the rest of the raw food kind of community is just, you know. Oh, the other thing is just nobody representing what I'm doing, and all of that being said, is this is kind of always said to myself of like, you know, because I've had my on and off things with drugs, of like just pot mainly, of like side by side of just where there's this like, oh, health, here's health line of like smoking pot, using pot, blah 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 blah, not using it all, being healthy. I've never been like that. Now I'm just interested in the sustainability of it all, of like where you know, the pot's not leading me really anymore, and of being somebody that's actually 50. And but the point is I've always said to myself is I'd rather hang out with a bunch of drug addicts, fill in the blanks of whatever you think that is, than a bunch of uptight raw foodists. So all that being said, this is just my thing. And so with my statement that I was saying before about supplements and stripping down to the diet, I'm not saying that that's what you should do from the beginning, because each one of us is different. And so you may be doing eating well, juicing and stuff, and like getting on some herbs, some Chinese herbs, particularly powerful, can make you make some breakthroughs very quickly. Or of, you know, perhaps doing some like really therapeutic dosages. If you're somebody that can't calm down, and like perhaps like smoking a joint at the end of the night is something that helps you, smoke the joint. But also you could consider the fact of like perhaps trying holy basil, the new chapter holy basil. You know, take an 8 or 9 or 10 caps of that, breaking them open in your mouth, and that just gives you a completely like blissed out, like awesome state that's very similar to pot. And now that's going to seem a little bit expensive, but I can tell you it's cheaper than the pot. And that's a weird thing that I see with people that like are into health food and into pot. Oh, that's really expensive, but yeah, you spent that much for pot, so why is that different? So all I'm saying is where I'm at is I've done a lot of stuff. I was at a point where I was spending $1,000 on like herbs and just all kinds of stuff. And so this whole thing's a journey for me. So the only thing that makes sense is to like, oh, like maybe I'll go back through and like sort of revise some of this stuff. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing the juices like all the time. Because I've been all over the place. The paleo thing didn't work for me. And I'm not saying it wouldn't work for you. But the where I'm at now is that I live sort of reclusively. I don't take a lot of influence from stuff. I listen to NPR radio, I'm on YouTube, I'm working on my music, and I'm living a very simple life. But I'm very plugged in via the internet. And so what I'm finding out is like what comes to my attention is something I can, it is something that I need to pay attention to. Like nothing is a coincidence. And so if all of a sudden I'm like driving in my car and I'm listening to NPR and I'm hearing a report on the alarming numbers in my mind of the amount of salmon that people harvest per year, and salmon is a sort of food that vegan-oriented people easily slip over to, and that's not a good one. That is not a good one at all. You know, that's a very finite number, extremely, and that's the stuff I was bothered with. Not to mention the fact is I was just getting into digestive problems, starting to get black circles under my eyes, which is a sign that all of your little, you know, liver, gallbladder, kidneys and stuff are having issues with excessive protein. So I went through that. I wish I could say I stayed vegan the whole, like, all of my adult life, but I didn't. And what I got out of it was a lot more experience with, because I did sort of, I guess I'm not even sure if I got a gain from it, because it was like simultaneously I was becoming more, as I became sort of paleo, I also became more knowledgeable about fats at the same time. So all I'm saying to like wrap this up is that basically you may be in a position of where herbs are what you need. I'm just saying we're all different, and that's what I'm doing now. Is like I've seen all this stuff. I want to strip it all down. I want to fast. I want to detox. I want to juice. I want to go through these liver gallbladder cleanses, because the liver is something that really stores, and the gallbladder, a lot of emotions, stores a lot of toxins from pollution and all that stuff. So I want to get really clean. I want to find out what like I know the whole sproutarian and all that kind of stuff works for me, and I'm getting and feeling a lot of benefits. And it's not a constant move forward all the time. It's like, because I am trying to like dig up a lot of old scarred emotions and stuff, setbacks on certain days. So anyways, support me by supporting my music. There's links in all four corners to my music. You know, subscribe to my channel, comment. The whole Google thing, I'm like the change in the comments. I'm trying to get on with that. I haven't been so easily able to interface with you all. This is Keith. Bright blessings. I love you all, and it's so fun to interface and talk with you all. All right, I'll catch you later, man.